Hi, my name is Otis with the CSU Adult Fitness Practicum, and today for our specialty class we're going to be doing a stretch and balance class. And to start off, we're going to go onto our right foot here and get some shoulder rolls in. Just loosening up those shoulders, nice and slow. And here in a little bit, we're just going to transfer over to our left foot. We'll do that here in 3, 2, 1. Remembering looking at a spot in front of you, helping to keep with your balance. You can hold your foot high if you want, or keep a toe on the ground to help with your balance, however you prefer. After this, we're going to go into an overhead tricep stretch and stretch out those triceps. And switch back to our right foot here in 3, 2, and 1. Staying on one foot and stretching that right tricep over our head. Pulling down just above the elbow or below pulling, whatever's up to you, just trying to keep off of that joint. Remembering to breathe throughout the stretches today, and again, focusing on one point, helping you keep your balance. And we'll switch over to our left arm here and our left leg in 3, 2, and 1. Switching to our left leg, left arm, staying on one foot. Still working on that balance while we stretch up our arms and our upper body. After this, we're going to go into some bicep and tricep stretches. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. Again, switching your leg, pulling those fingers back towards your elbow, feeling that stretch in that forearm and that bicep. Again, the higher you hold it, the more stretch you'll feel. And the more towards your body you hold it, the less of a stretch. Remembering to stretch only to the point of discomfort and not pain. And we're going to switch to the other side here on both leg and arm in 3, 2, and 1. Again, holding that balance while we get these stretches in. Holding it at whatever level you please. I hope everyone's staying safe and getting through this quarantine, and hope these workouts help you stay in shape and keep making those gains that we were seeing when we weren't in quarantine. After this, we're going to switch over to a across the body shoulder stretch. And we're going to switch that here in 3, 2, 1. Again, switching to your right leg and keeping that balance up. Remember again, holding on above or below the elbow joint, not directly on. We don't want to hold it there. Remembering to breathe in through your nose, not through your mouth, slowly throughout each stretch. And we're going to switch to the other side here. 3, 2, and 1. Shaking out those arms, shaking out that leg if you need to. Remembering to stay balancing as we do all these stretches. After this, we're just going to go to standing, and we're just going to do some bear hugs. Stretch out our chest. We're going to transition to that here in 3, 2, and 1. Again, opening those arms out wide and coming back and hugging yourself, stretching that chest out. After this, we're going to stretch our upper back, locking our fingers out in front of us. What I like to do is alternate my arms throughout while I'm doing this. And we'll switch to the upper back stretch here in 3 more hugs. And so 3, 2, and 1. Again, locking your fingers out, pushing them out in front of you. If you want more of a stretch, you can point your palms out, really stretch out that upper back. After this, we're going to go into a tree pose, work on our balance some more. And we're going to transition to that tree pose here in 3, 2, and 1. However you like, you can have your hands on your hips, above your head, or up to your chest. And again, placing your foot up against your leg, having it below or above that knee joint, or if needed, with a toe on the ground, heel against your calf. Whatever you prefer. And in a little bit, we're going to transfer into a crane pose, keeping that balance on that left leg. A crane pose being our knee bended up in front of us. We'll transition to that here in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Holding that balance on that left leg, lifting that left knee up. Holding that whichever way possible, if needed. Arms out above, or just even at your hips. We'll lift that leg up a little higher, and then let's try to kick that leg out, keeping that balance on that left leg, working on that stability in the left leg. We'll transfer to our other leg here in 3, 2, and 1. Transfer to our other leg here. Transfer our other leg here again, just a tree pose, holding that balance on that right leg, keeping your hands wherever you think, wherever you want them, wherever you prefer. Just holding that position. And again, we'll go back to a crane pose, holding that balance on that right leg. We'll transition to that here in 3, 2, and 1. Holding that knee out in front of you for a little bit. And then again, we'll slowly work that way and kick that leg out, holding that balance. After this, we're going to switch back to balance on our left leg, and we'll do some toe taps. And we're going to transition to that here in 3, 2, 1. Bouncing back on that left leg and do some toe taps, painting a box with your foot, hitting each corner. Going out as far as you like. The farther out you go, the more balance it will require. So we're just painting that box with those taps. And we'll do the same thing with our left leg here. In 3, 2, and 1. Again, painting that box with those taps. Focusing on a point in front of me always helps keep my balance going through these movements. Hope everyone's day's going well. We're doing a great job getting through the standing portion. Of our balance. After this, we're going to go into a lunging stance and stretch out our calf muscle, and also maybe do a little bit of pelvic tilt and stretch out those hip flexors. We're going to transition to that here in 3, 2, and 1. Placing your right foot forward in a lunge position, pushing that left heel to the ground, feeling that stretch in your calf, and then pushing that your hips forward, put your pelvis forward, feeling that stretch in your hip flexor as well as that calf. To help with balance, you can have your arms out to the sides above you, whichever you prefer, or just even to your sides or middle of your chest. Holding that stretch in your calf and hip. We're going to switch legs here in about 10 more seconds. Really feeling that stretch in that calf. And we'll switch legs here in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Again, pushing that left leg forward, bend it to about 90 degrees, and driving that heel, back right heel into the ground, and pushing that hip forward, feeling that stretch in your calf and your hip flexor. Remembering to make sure your knees don't go above your toes in this position. The more you drive that heel into the ground, the more of a stretch you'll feel. And the more you tilt that your hips forward, the more of a stretch you feel in that hip flexor. After this, we're going to go into the ground on our sides and stretch out our quads and do some side planks. And we'll transition to that here in 5 seconds. And in 3, 2, and 1. Going down onto our side, grabbing that foot or leg, and stretching that quad out. We'll hold this quad stretch for a little bit, and then we're going to pull the leg further back a tiny bit, and get a little bit extra stretch on that hip flexor that we might not have felt in our lunge. Remembering to breathe throughout these exercises. Getting a good stretch in after our workouts. And so always remember, good to keep flexibility up. Don't want muscles to tighten up from being sedentary, being stuck in the house. Keep it up with me. You guys are doing a great job. Nice change of pace from the normal workouts. And we're going to switch into here into a side plank on your hands. We'll do that here in 3, 2, 1. Working on our stability and balance on that right hand. You can either go from hand position or off an elbow, and you can go from knees on the ground or everything fully up. And I like to keep that left arm up. Really work on our balance on our hand and our foot. Holding the side plank, get a little bit of a core exercise in too as well. We're going to sit here and hold this for about 15 seconds longer. If you need to, you can drop down and take a break, or drop to that elbow, whichever you prefer. And we're going to switch to the other side here in 3, 2, and 1. Flip-flopping sides. Again, going into grabbing that foot or above that ankle. Just remember, staying away from the ankle joint. Line your body up. Your head can also rest on your bicep or your hand, whichever you prefer, and pulling that leg back, stretching that quad and hip flexor some more on this right leg. And then again, after this stretch, we're going to go into our side plank. And like I said, for that side plank, you can go from hand position or elbow, whichever you prefer. And we'll transition to that side plank here in 3, 2, and 1. Again, I like to put my hand up, staring, helping that balance, trying to reduce that sway, working on our core as well. Holding in this position is about 15 more seconds. Again, you can drop down to your knees and do this off your knees, or do it off an elbow, whichever is more comfortable for you. And we're going to go down onto our stomachs here in 3, 2, 1. From our stomachs, we're going to go into a downward dog pose. Working on our balance again. Holding this position here for about 10 seconds, and after that we're going to lift a leg and keep working on that balance. And we'll do that here in 5 seconds. In 3, 2, and 1. Lift that right leg up, holding that position and working on your balance. The lower you hold it, the less of intensity. The higher you hold it, the more intensity. Whichever you prefer. And keeping that balance and that left leg in your hands. And we'll switch legs here in 10 seconds. And we'll do that in 3, 2, and 1. Switching to our left leg up. Again, trying to create a straight board from our neck to our leg, or keeping it low. If keeping it high doesn't feel comfortable for you. We're going to hold this here for about 15 more seconds. Really working on that balance. We're almost done here. Remembering to breathe throughout the exercise. And we're going to put our foot down here in 3, 2, and 1. Stay in that downward dog for a little bit. In about 5 seconds, we're going to go into some cat-cows here. We'll transition to that here in 2, 1. Going down onto your knees, and then arching that back up and sinking back down. Feeling a stretch in your erector spinae, upper back, as you go up and then sinking down, lifting your head up. And then head drop, still feeling that stretch. After this, we're going to go into a Cobra Pose and stretch out those abdominals. We're going to do that here in 3, 2, and 1. Sinking down into that cobra and pushing up off your hands or elbows, whichever you prefer, and stretching out those abs. Remembering we need to breathe throughout our exercises. Hold this here for about 15 more seconds. After this, we're just going to a child pose. Take a little bit of a drop in intensity and take a little break. Rest a bit and stretch out those lower back some more and the glutes. And we'll switch that child pose here in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tucking your knees up under you and sitting down into your heels with your hands stretched out. Remembering to breathe in this position. It's nice to take a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth slowly. We're going to relax here for a little bit. After this, we're going to flip onto our back. Stretch out our abductors and glutes a bit. But first, to start off on our back, we're going to some glute bridges. And we'll transfer onto our back here in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Flipping onto our back side. Pressing those feet in the ground and then going to that glute bridge and holding. Holding this position. Remembering to breathe. You might feel a slight stretch in your hip flexors, but focusing on reducing that sway in your hips as you're holding this position. Tightening those ab muscles. After this, we're going to go into a knee pull into your chest. And we'll transfer into that here in 3, 2, 1. Dropping your butt down and then grabbing that right knee, pulling into your chest, feeling that stretch in your glute and your hamstring. And then in a little bit, we're going to open up our hips to the right. We'll do that here in 3, 2, 1. Pulling that knee to the right a bit, stretching out those adductors a little bit. And on the same leg, we're going to swing it across our body and go to a T-pose. We'll do that here in 3, 2, 1. Swinging that knee in your body, going to that T-pose, feeling that stretch in your abductors. And from that bent knee, let's slowly straighten that leg. Arms out to the sides, holding this position. Still feeling that good stretch in your abductors. Try to keep your shoulder blades on the ground as much as possible. And a little bit, we're going to switch here into our other leg. In 3, 2, and 1. Grabbing that left knee now, pulling it into your chest, feeling that stretch in your glute. And again, to add some of the adductors, we'll pull that knee to the left and stretch out that glute and abductors. Holding this position. Getting that nice stretch and balance in. And again, we'll swing our leg out to the right. Starting off bent first with our shoulder blades planted on the ground and slowly straightening them. Feeling that stretch in your abductors. After this, we're going to switch over to a seated position and do some butterfly stretches and some hamstring stretches, and that'll be it for today. And we'll transition to that seated position here in 3, 2, and 1. In a seated position, going into that butterfly stretch, stretching those adductors just a little bit more. Remembering the closer your feet are to your groin, the more of a stretch you'll feel. The further out, the less of a stretch you'll feel. And if you want to add a little more intensity, you can press those elbows down onto your knees, adding some weight down, getting more of a stretch. Remembering to keep your shoulders high up and your head up. After this, we'll go to a split leg position and stretch out our hamstrings, and that'll be it for today. And we'll transition to that here in 3, 2, and 1. Keeping that left leg bent still and stretching that right leg out. Keeping your back and chest out as much as possible, reaching that toe or that ankle, whichever you prefer. Making sure we're not bending all the way down, but keeping that back straight, chest up, and head high. Remembering to breathe. We're going to switch to our other leg here in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Going to our left leg, replacing our right leg and putting it up in a bended position. Again, reaching for those toes, keeping your body straight and head up. Remembering to breathe throughout the stretch. We'll hold this here for about 10 more seconds. And we'll be done here in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go back to a standing position and we're done. Good job today, guys, and I'm glad and hope you enjoyed the stretch and balance workout.